Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Risen fans. It's a fine Sunday afternoon here, and what better day for some League of Legends action than a relaxing Sunday? But far from relaxing is this game for these teams. It's Spooky and Dobby here to take you through things. And Dobby, this is a rather important set for a couple of these teams here. I mean, very close in the standings across this division. This could be the set that sets these teams apart from their closest competitors.
Yeah. So we have Phantom 5 versus BP here, and there's another game going on this evening between FSU and the Winning Formula, and both sitting at a 2-2 and then a 0-4. So it's definitely a shakeup here going into the mid-season here at Week 5, getting set up. These lower tier teams need to step up if they want to make the playoff run to get a chance at that prize pool.
Yeah, and when we look at these discrepancies between the standings, 0-4, 2-2, it can really feel like one team is heavily favored going into this. That is Fanta 5, who has the 2-2 record right now. But we were talking a little bit earlier, Dobby, and you were mentioning the matchups that big pushers have had so far in the season. It's all been against that upper echelon of the division so far. They've had some really tough matchups. Do you think this is their breakpoint where they get back into it?
I say this is their best chance to get back into it. Phantom 5 started out strong, but they played against FSU, who is 0-4. Had a very close series versus DHT in week 2, and then had the unfortunate circumstance of going against Solbert in week 3, and then like that was the start of like the true decline. And last week they got progressively worse. So um just looking at statistics wise, BP has actually gotten better from the start of the season. Um minus last week where they had to FF due to a scheduling error, but like everything going around says they're getting better. Phantom 5 is getting worse. So just seeing what can be done here, BP has the chance to get that 1-4. FSU has a larger chance of going 0-5. So like just starting and then creating that decrease, because then at this point you're only one game behind Phantom 5, and you're hoping that you're going to be there and you're going to get the win, and next thing you know, you're in the top 6 for playoffs. So
A lot's riding on this one for both teams here. Big pushers looking like their best chance to finally get back into things and claw their way out of the steps that they've been in. Phantom 5, though, they have to find that return to form. They've got to figure out what worked well for them in those first early weeks and get back to that to make sure they don't drop down in these standings. And frankly, there's a lot of different ways that you can look at that happening. What is the first step to that in your mind, Dobby?
well, I would have to say it's roster security. If you look at it through a lot of these games, they haven't had the same 5 players every game. So that's also an issue that's going on with them. Uh, and that's what I see to be true of a lot of losing teams. I understand that P5 is 2-2, but you're here to play, win, compete, and if you feel hopeless, then your mental is affected. So if P5 want to feel good going forward, they need to win here so that they're at that positive win rate record, and they feel more confident going in the weeks, the future weeks here at Risen.
Well, there's really only one way to find out, and that's when we actually see them on the Rift and see how they approach these games. What has been, in your mind, the major detriment to P5? Obviously, roster security is a big one there, but is that something where it just affects the gameplay decisions? Does it affect how they approach the game in as a whole? Is it drafting? What is the first building block that they need to secure after they figure out where their roster is going? Have their drafts been on point? Have their tactics been on point? Have they been making the right macro decisions? And where's the chink that BP can really abuse?
Well, the chink that I think is really good for them right now is that you have Shima on support, very well and experienced player for BP, and then just being able to utilize the strength of Rel who is most arguably probably the best support in the game, and is now got a jungle buff, so you're able to flex it if you wanted to. I
Shit.
had the unfortunate circumstance of playing against a rail jungler today, and it just
Yep.
made my shot go cry and quit. Um, so that was fun. But for P5, the biggest thing is you need to be able to draft smartly. Everyone is doing the static shiv rush, so just seeing how well that works for them. But I feel like on the side, like looking at the matchups, P5 might be a little outclassed today, just from the nature of the fact that, hey, you got a plat one jungler playing against a D2 jungler. So Taco Lover's really good, knows how to control the map. And then Shima also D2 versus a plat 4 support. So just being able to like utilize that matchup differential, having that jungler play towards the bot side for BP, set up the winning lane, and allow that AD carry to carry, because it is definitely a more bot centric meta this season.
Hmm. Now, obviously, it's bot centric. Do you think that top lane can get enough leverage to offset that if BP or P5 is able to get Zatan ahead in this top lane, try to push a lead there? Is that enough to offset a potentially ahead bottom lane?
It could, depending on the nature of the champion picked. Don't really know much about Zatan outside of what I've seen, and he looks like a fill player. So we had the unfortunate circumstance 3 weeks ago of watching a Viego one trick play top lane. It just does not mesh well. So just seeing what Zaitan can offer, because the only experienced top laner he has, at least in solo queue, is GP. And even then, that's such a small fraction of the games he's actually played versus the other champions he's played. I think he's actually on a Ari win streak. He's just playing mid.
Well, do have an Ari in the game for P5, so have to see if that's going to be the key to their victory. It is going to be that Ornn, likely up in the top lane, Poppy likely going towards the jungle. But my mind goes over to BP's draft here a little bit. You know, we've got this Annie, Kaisa. Is that the bottom lane? Is this Annie going mid against the Ari? With the Shen locked in, I assume it's going to be Rek'Sai in the jungle.
Yeah, I hope yeah, it's definitely Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is definitely the strongest jungler right now, able to move around the map, set up the ganks. It's weird seeing him on red side because she excels best on the blue side, being able to do the bard trick to gank that bot lane, get him ahead. But seeing the Kaisa and the Annie, it's more of a protect around a composition. With the Lulu Kaisa, I'm a little worried about that bot lane specifically, just due to lack of synergy. What you really want is someone to get those stacks on there from the passive for Kaisa, and that CC helps. And Lulu doesn't have any guaranteed CC, and then it's going to be extremely difficult as well because of the Xayah Emilio, the amount of disengage and self peel that they have. They're not gonna be able to really worry about it. So it's just gonna be, I think it's gonna be a slap fight in the bot lane. The Kaisa definitely has the most all-in potential. You have like Rek'Sai follow up the channel. Lulu can ult you and help you out, but it not as an engage, but as like a team fight assist.
Do you expect to see Rek'Sai start maybe with that red buff, clear there, make her way down to that blue side, look for an early gank into that bot lane? Being a manaless champion isn't super reliant on that blue buff early in the game. Could be some key points for potential aggression coming out from big pushers here.
Yeah. What I really like about big pushers is the Kaisa pick. She's fallen back into the meta with the static shiv buff. You get Static Shiv, Nashor's Tooth, and Rageblade, and she's just able to shred right through almost everybody at that point, constantly dealing damage. And then through the nature of the passive with the Static Shiv, you're just going to be able to shred right through everybody. And it's really strong, and it's got to keep her alive. They have a good job around it with the Shen and the Lulu. But you can't discount Annie. And that's why you have to draft the Rek'Sai, because you need that AD carry offset, because Kai'Sa will most likely go that hybrid build.
Now, looking over towards this other side here, we've talked a lot about big pushers. Haven't given Phantom 5 a whole lot of attention just yet. This Ornn in the top lane, one of the tankiest characters in the game, one of the hardest to kill. With this build that Kai'Sa is likely going to be going, so easy to shred through multiple characters. Do you think this Ornn will struggle, or is this the pick that you really need to get that extra boost of survivability?
So just to clarify, earlier, Zaitan is not the top laner. It's going to be Pookie. Pookie himself is also a mid laner, who does have a lot of experience on tops. So it's good to see that that's there. Zaitan being on his Ahri. So in order to get that Ornn ahead, survive it, you want to be able to free up, push in the mid lane, and go topside. Get the Ornn ahead, and just so he doesn't fall behind. But the Shen is really good counter in it, doing that percent health damage with his Q, being able to negate damage coming in. So just being able to survive long enough, the Ornn getting high enough to get those artifacts out will be a boon for that team. It'll allow them to scale longer and harder. Zaya, really good late game. Ahri, most likely, I foresee an Evan Shroud game. So just working on that control aspect.
Talk to me a little bit about this Poppy, because I'm looking at the draft from Big Pushers. Doesn't seem like a whole lot really gets shut down by this Poppy. I mean, proper positioning, yeah, you can prevent the Kai'Sa ult, and that's probably the biggest thing, but everyone else doesn't really have a ton of mobility that they're really worried about this Poppy shutting down on them. Do you think this pick is just to make sure that Big Pushers couldn't pick it into the Ahri?
I think the Poppy is an extremely good counter into everything that Phantom 5 are trying to do. So just having that, you're not using it to win. You're using it to deny the other people from having a win con. Because you've seen it plenty of times, being able to stop the dash of the Ahri, can stop the Ornn ult itself. And then you just want to be able to make sure that doesn't happen against you. But like you said, there's not really much use for that as much into Phantoms. I don't believe that the W passive will stop the Rek'Sai ultimate from coming through, because you're untargetable for the action. But it might stop a bad Kai'Sa in ultimate away, but that's literally all you're really using it for. I think you're going to rely more around the stun aspect and utilizing the ult to control the objectives.
Well, there's only really one way to see how these drafts play out against each other. Can Big Pushers push their way to a victory and climb up that ladder? Will the Phantom 5 make those hopes a ghost? Stay tuned. We'll be right back to find out. folks, we said it, and here we are. Beat down on the Rift. Big pushers against Phantom 5. It's going to be an interesting one. Now, Dobby, we were talking a little bit here, waiting for that spectator delayed to begin. About this Milio, about the matchup into the draft that the Big Pushers has here. It feels like there's a lot of value that comes from that ultimate cleansing CC.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially if the Annie is able to get off a big fight, flash ultimate, stun a lot of people. And as long as Emilio is not one of those that are caught, will have a lot of value keeping that team alive, which is something you want to have. The Annie is just going to put out so much damage, especially if you're stunned, and you're going to be able, with that, the stacks are on you. Kais is going to come in and shred you. There's just a lot of value. And like if you're CC'd long enough, the Shen ult with the taunt, that'll come in. Those are the things that you want to avoid. And Milio has been hit with a couple of nerfs, isn't exactly synergistic with them. A lot of, well, isn't synergistic with every AD carry like he used to be, but is in a good place for this matchup. And like we were talking about in draft, like one of the strongest parts about it is that bot lane on the side of Phantom 5 has that disengage and self peel, and that is the strength of those two champions now.
This is what you were talking about in draft, is the health percent damage that Toasty Tortilla is able to put out on this Shen, just chunking Pookie down about half health. Only before even level 2. He's first wave has crashed, and Toasty Tortilla has decided to set the tone of this lane, except before it gets aggressive. And we were talking about how these teams are going to want to play through each lane here. Does that give any concern to you to the side of Phantom 5?
I think if I'm Phantom 5, I understand Pookie's going to be our weak side. You don't pick Ornn to win straight up in the 1v1, which is fine. So now you're going to focus in the bot side, mid bot jungle, try and control those early dragons. But as you see here, Phantom 5's got this early push in, got this control, so Zelgrim only has one option. It's to go mid or farm. And there's just not much that he can do right now. And Poppy is not one of those things that like, oh, I need to farm to be useful. She's useful at every stage of the game, just to the nature of her kit. But we have Taco Lover coming here for mid lane. Maybe Zelgrim can counter gank and get something off of this.
Eye on where he's going too. He's looping up around. Taco Lover's actually starting the recall, but here comes Zelgrim pushing in, looking for blue. But Taco Lover has found the engage, put the damage out onto Zelgrim. They're half health though, has to flash away. Zion was fishing for a charm, doesn't have a line shot to it, has to back off there.
Yep, all four players there in the mid lane, all burned flash, trying to get the kill and survive. So we'll see what happens. They're going to have to play around each other, but this is more beneficial for the side of BP. Taco Lover versus Rek'Sai has a lot more engage angles with the burrow. So, but Poppy does have that Hex Flash, able to get over to those weird places where vision is not denied. I mean, you can see each team here has.
Okay.
Yeah. Really good job of Pookie to live there, but what you really see here is jungle control or map control on the river on both sides of the map. You have BP focusing top, and you have Phantom 5 focusing bot. And those are showing where the winning lanes are happening. So it'll be very hard to get any extra effort to offset those winning lanes. For example, if Tortilla comes any outside, comes bot any place outside of that one gank ankle he has over that weird tri-bush thing, he's going to be noticed out. The same thing if Poppy goes top. There's not a lot of angles for her to do anything without that Hex Flash.
Now, obviously, this is how the game goes. Some sides will win, some sides will be a little bit weaker. You're going to have favorable lanes and less favorable lanes. Right now, Pookie's taking the less favorable. We'll get back to that in a second. He was killed. Looking at being killed, takes a big chunk of damage, not able to get away from that one. First blood. It's over to Demo Nick there. excellent work on the Kaisa. And now this kind of makes my question a little bit less relevant here, W, because my question was, does having Toasty Tortilla win against an Ornn who scales up, is that effective enough to offset Return of Uzi being ahead on the Xayah? But Demonic just comes in, says, okay, I'm going to be the one ahead.
Yeah, so it was really good for the side of Demonic. Like, first thing, he was able to get that kill so that he's getting all that gold he is missing from being behind. Second, because he has that kill, he has a priority on the wave, so he's able to push that, crash it, and deny Uzi from getting any extra leads off it. So what was a 15 CS lead is now only about 7, so you're only down, or, well, we're 10 now. So you're only down a wave. And I actually think because of the first blood gold, Demonic is ahead, even at the CS disadvantage.
Yeah, definitely a little bit further ahead. And also was able to get that reset off, has the purchase shard in the pockets now. Meanwhile, Return of Uzi has not had a return to base in some time. So he's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage in this lane for right now. But so early on, we're only 7 minutes in. Is that item disparity really going to be something to be concerned about? Right now, Kill is still in this lane. They've got the numbers advantage. I don't expect that Demonic is really looking at for any fights just yet.
Now, Demonic won't really won't have that 1v1 potential until he gets 6, just because he wants that extra shield to help him live. But you don't really want to fight until he gets his second item, because he's going Shiv. All he's really going to be doing is trying to poke and clear the wave and crash it as fast as possible. When he gets that Nashor's is when he'll actually spike and be able to do a lot. He'll have his W and E evolves, and being able to stack that passive fast over and over and over again while getting that static shift proc will do good. But Pookie able to do a lot up here on the top side, not straight up losing anymore now that he's got that Balmy Cinder.
Balmy Cinder does a lot of work there, but Toasty Tortilla is able to dash away, has to burn the flash. Still alive in the top lane, still relatively even. That's going to force Toasty Tortilla back to base, spend some of that gold. Mind you, that whole fight occurred before Toasty had to add any recall, so just working with that Doran shield. After this reset, that lane might not be so easy for Pookie to find a leverage in.
Yeah, but he went plated steel caps right off the bat there. Warren does an extravagant amount of magic damage. So the Balmy Cinder is also magical damage in itself. So you're not really staying in there longer to prevent the push that is going to coming out from the Ornn. Which is why he's trying to go to that early Sunfire, so that he's not constantly under his tower anymore.
Some pressure back here on the bot lane for Phantom 5. That'll put some good damage to this tower, starting to strip away some of these plates. Not quite enough damage to collect the gold on that one. With big pushers going back to their base, they should have an opportunity here to collect a little bit more gold. But looking over things as a whole, it is still the big pushers who are in the lead right now. It's by about 1,000 gold, which isn't massive, but it is a nice trend for them, especially since they haven't had a win, I'd say, in a while, but in reality, ever so far here. This is the start that you really want to have. Do you think this is exactly what they need? Zaten has to run away from that one.
Yeah, this is really good. Every lane is even or ahead at this point for big pushers, which is more than they've had previously. So this is really good for them.
The flash comes through, another flash out from Zaten, but it's not enough to keep him alive. The Shen ultimate gives a shield, keeps Blue alive. Oh man, that is just tilting if you're Phantom 5.
That really good, keeping that enemy alive, so you're able to push in. You're trading that kill and denial of experience in CS for a plate top.
Whew. The damage come through, but Nick and just has the flash available. Not able to lock him down. It feels like Phantom 5, they're fighting, they're making real efforts across the board. They haven't actually been able to collect anything so far.
No, but they're just trying to brute force this down right now, see what they can do.
Team
But
up. Blue's also teleporting in. Phantom 5 comes out onto Nick, and now the aggression turns around onto Zelgrim. You can try to find the Ram, but it's just not enough to put the big pushers down. They have found a push. They are pushing for more gold in that fight. So 1-0. That might be more here. Taco Lover getting pressed on over the wall. Be okay, but followed by Zata, and Blue is here. Doesn't have a stun available. There it is. Doesn't connect, but it keeps the jungler alive.
Yeah, just trading his flash to make sure that they're not getting any vision there in the bot side. Not the best move, but he was able to secure that Rift Herald at the same time that they were able to get another kill down for Demonic onto the P5 team there after that botched dive, which is surprising because we utilized the kill used his Milio ult just, I believe, for the healing effect. No one was CC'd, and there was nothing going on there.
Okay, Blue is getting aggressive here. Good. Stopwatch keeps him alive there, just barely, but still pushing forward. He's got his team here. Looks like the Phantom 5 are not willing to attempt to punish that position from Blue. Do you think that's the right call? I'm surprised.
I'm very surprised too. He had nothing, but at this point you're behind. You don't want to take unnecessary risks, and VP were there. They just didn't know it, but he did. They were there, ready to support him. Good to go to make sure that Blue would be safe. And their transition is directly into a dragon. Very smart play. They got the plates down in the middle. They are starting to create a more significant gold lead. Instead of 1K, we're at 2K, and we got the best dragon in the game coming up, and we're seeing every lane pushing to get plates.
Have to see how the trend continues. Get ready for the next dragon coming through here. Infernal, always a nice one to have, especially when you have a lead like this. And looking at the draft from Phantom 5, Infernal's not a fun dragon to be looking at on the opposition. Toasted Tortilla, though, he dashes in straight into Zelgrim. May not have anywhere to go at this point. Knocked up, put down. Pookie finally finds the kill, but Taco Lover is on the back end of things, looking to respond. Return of Uzi finds the first one. He finds a shutdown. He's gonna die to the tower. Taco Lover gets the kills, but it's a 2-1 across the board there. I mean, Phantom 5 finally answers back.
Yeah, Phantom 5, really good job. They were able to transition, get that top lane kill. They went 2 for 2 in the bot lane as well. If Taco wasn't there, they would have straight up lost. So really good on them. They're showing that they still got a lot of fight there. They close that gold lead again. They're back down to just 1K. So it's still a very close game, very good. They're making plays. They're not just giving up, even though they have lost a lot of objective pressure. So we'll see how they transition this now as we're getting into the mid game.
Very good answer back. The shutdowns were massive, and they both went to Return of Uzi on this Xayah. Lots of gold, lots of damage now available. And just taking a look at the build, Uzi he's opted for this Kraken Slayer. Got a BF sword as well on hand there. Comparing this Kraken Slayer against the Static Shiv, how do you feel those one-on-ones go? And more importantly, who's this Kraken Slayer for? Because really the tankiest member of the big pushers is going to be Toasty Tortilla.
Yeah, I think that you're getting into, is the itemization really that beneficial? Because it's just the standard go-to first item. It's cheap, it's effective, it does what you want it. And you're only buying it really for the Toasty Tortilla. It just knowing that the 1v1, you probably will win a 1v1 if you
definitely win that 1v1. That's that's a 1v1 you win every time if
Yeah,
the player's just not playing the game anymore.
here we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll hop into a quick pause for that one while we get Toast Tortilla back into that game. But I mean, I think you're on a good line there. Is Toasty Tortilla, a big enough target that you need this Kraken Slayer to make sure you're taking him down? And how quickly does it allow you to take him down, given that he just places that zone around him where all your basic attacks are now just missing?
yeah. I don't really see the Kraken having a lot of extra value this early. I think maybe a second or third item would be a lot better. Tortilla's not really roaming around a lot that you would need it. I mean, he's used his ultimate once, and it was to save blue in the mid lane. Um, so I'm curious to see what else they're going to go into this. I mean, you're ahead. You have the gold. You're CSing a lot better. You got the double kill with the shutdown. Maybe they just don't know what else to buy, and it will eventually be a part of the kit, no matter what, as the game goes on. So maybe their thought process is, why not now?
Yeah. Now, what are you expecting these next items to be here? Are you expecting to see some quick blades coming out, Infinity Edge? What are you feeling is Uzi's go-to here?
If I'm Uzi, I want to build Navori. The quick blade is just really good overall. You want to be able to spam the abilities faster. You're not gonna get a lot of value out of like an IE or the other mythics that are out there currently, based off of how they're playing. But on the inverse side, you see the Kaisa. She's going to try and stack up that AP bonus that comes with the scaling of that item, going straight into Nashers. Once that happens, I think the 1v1 might go away side of Demonic, especially because if he's able to utilize his cleanse properly, he's not going to be rooted while Uzi just hits on him for free as we get back into the game.
Let me ask you this, Dobby. How quick are Navori's quick blades? And does the existence of the quick blades imply the existence of Navori's slow blades? How to get back to that, 'cause Demonic getting aggressed on quickly, able to sneak his way on out of that one. Teleport comes in,
Mhm.
and that's just a rotation.
Yeah, that's seem to be having more difficulties.
Uh,
Okay, here we go.
There. Oh, big flash comes in. Blue actually just aggresses straight onto Zelgrim, finds the kill. Monkfly comes through, but does not keep him alive. Blue goes down. It's a shutdown. Returned back. Uzi falls. Kill shows up, but it's a little too late to have any impact on that one.
Mhm.
Good rotations coming out from big pushers. Once again, themselves ahead, although lead is not quite as big. It's still been dropping down as this game goes on.
Yeah, Phantom 5 are slowing that glow lead. They're able to get the turret top lane, which is really helpful there. But what lead they were making was lost when they just died 2-for-1 in the bot side. Zelgrim being over aggressive onto the Kaisa with her summoners and her ultimate. She has a lot of ability to get out of dodge, and she just has a lot of return kill of pressure, as you saw with how fast she was able to basically just take away the Zelgrim, let the blue flash ult in and get the kill, and then translating that into another kill onto Uzi, in which blue got the shutdown gold for.
Right now, Dragon 30 seconds out, half a minute remaining on that cooldown there. All parties alive on both sides here. With it being Infernal, I can't imagine either one is going to be taking this objective for free. Is it a pick that these teams are looking for? Is it a team fight around the objective? Is Zelgrim being looked at here? You can see Blue and Taco Lover both in position. Baiting him out with a ward. Not able to find the stun. So with 3 now here, let's just see the answer for ourselves or how they wish to approach this dragon. Big stun comes through. Zelgrim counters it back, dashes in, but gets a lot of damage put back into him. Demonic finds some poke as well. Kuki is here, looking for the ultimate. Might be able to catch Blue here. Knocks up. Big Shadow comes through, but it's not enough. The shutdown is good, and that should break the game open. For now, Phantom 5 start marching down towards this dragon. Toasty, not able to complete the ult, is still stranded up in top lane. The big pushers are pushed completely off this Inferno.
Yeah, really good pick coming off of it. If you're able to burst it down, that split pushing Shen ultimate is useless. Really good. Everyone is able to go immediately onto blue, and that's exactly what you want.
Sends a teleport up top, stops the push from Toasty Tortilla, and overall, this has just been not good for big pushes, is how we will call that. Lose the Shen ult, lose the shutdown in your mid laner, don't get a tower in return, and you lose the Infernal Drake. I mean, what more could the Phantom 5 have actually gotten from that?
Well, if Phantom 5 might have been able to just like evenly split between the mid lane and the jungler in the objective, you had the prio mid because of the kill. Everyone was retreating through the bot side jungle, resetting, so they could have gotten that objective as well in a 2-for-1. But saving the top side is still useful. We just see a lot happening right now.
Quite happy. Big double knockup comes out from Pookie there. Suddenly the big pushers do not have the health to continue this fight. The slow is good, and Pookie has slain the Toasty Tortilla, put him in the toaster, and let him fry. Zatem dashing through the rest of the pushers. Who's pushing who around at this point? The Phantom 5 have found themselves some aggression. Great flash from Taco Love to avoid the ultimate. Still, the big pushers are looking for some aggression back, able to stop the push in mid. Frankly, things are starting to slip away from them here.
Yeah, it's really simple for the side of Phantom 5. There's only one front line, and you're easily going to be able to shred them because with the Ahri being able to extenuate and do true damage, just eat through it no matter what's going on with Shen's shield. And because the Ornn is now starting to get ahead, he's at 12, he's going to start coming out with artifacts here soon as this game just starts to slip away from big pushers who had a lead for the first 20 minutes and then it no longer exists.
And those artifacts can be some big game changers as well. I mean, the later this game goes on, the more powerful these items become. Return of Uzi, he's got those quick blades completed, going into the Vampiric Scepter as well. Things are starting to get a little bit tougher for the big pushers. It's not completely over. It's back to a neutral game state. It's not a deficit just yet. Taco Lover is trying to sniff out kill there, but not able to find anything on that one. How do the big pushers adapt here and switch their game plan? What's been going wrong, and how can they course correct?
They're just getting caught split constantly. They're not fighting together as a team. So once they're able to like group together, do what they need to do, they're going to be able to like start surviving. You see, most of the magic damage on the side of Phantom 5 is the Ahri, and she's built 2 support items. The Everfrost is literally just a CC chain, and then she went Banshee's Veil, so she's not getting burst. So like that damage she's supposed to do doesn't exist anymore. So if you're able to get some MR but focus a lot on that armor, you're going to be able to survive a lot better if she continues to build defensively.
Now, are you expecting that defensive build to continue? Are you expecting something like the Zhonya's coming out next? Or are you thinking it's about time Zhonya's started looking for a little bit more burst? Looking for the Rabadons. They're not afraid to put out the damage at all. Good gracious! That's still a ton of burst that came through. And what has happened to the big pushers? Demonic tries to dive in for a kill, but he just strands himself. Charmed is Toasty Tortilla. You can't be walking into those, my friend. This tower may still stand, but it is not a bastion of safety. It crumbles alongside big pushers.
Yeah, Phantom 5, getting the pick off the squishy, you're not going to be able to channel that channel fully through to save him. The Xayah is starting to get away out of this. the Ornn is just dealing so much damage and taking up all the front line. You're not able to get to the back line and stop them off. The Annie isn't getting back there, utilizing her ult to stop all that damage that's coming through. It looks like this is now Phantom 5's game to lose. They're starting to peel ahead. They got the next dragon coming up, and they're all rotating down there, ready for it. And you don't see that same level of priority coming out of the big pushers.
See how this one goes here now. Close to 2,000 gold behind his big pushers. Look at this grouping. They're all here in this bush, waiting for someone to step up. But it's Pookie, first one for that tanky target. It's not the one that's going to be falling into your 4-man grouping. You can't cheese the Ornn that easily. Jesse Tortilla tries to find something, tries to make it happen. Zaten coming in from the side. Knockup is good onto blue, and they're stranded. Big ultimate comes out. Tibbers finds 2. The stun is good. Return of Booty finally goes down. The ADC is no more. Big pushers may have finally found themselves away back in. Demonic being pressured, and Zelgrim getting pressured right back. Pookie finishes the job on the ADC, but he's now alone in the middle of 4. Toasty still has the shields coming out, and big pushers finally pull a fight out for themselves. Flip the script, put it right back on the table. The Infernal Dragon goes the way of the big pushers.
That was an extremely exciting team fight. Just being able to watch everyone at least try and focus music. They know that that's the damage. They know where it's coming from. And then just a great flake engage from Zaitan. He tried hard. It didn't connect, and it backfired a lot. It cost him the dragon there, but it doesn't look like it cost him the Baron just due to the low death timers.
Respawn timers still a little bit too quick for the big push to capitalize on that. And their health bars not the healthiest either. Make no mistake, they may have won the fight with the full ace. It was still a close fight. There's a lot of damage put out on both sides here. Now, with the big pushers having reset, the Phantom 5 maybe taking their own opportunity into this Baron. Zelgrim does start it up. Big pushers, they should know. They saw the ward go down. But can they get here in time? Toasty and Demonic are both in the area. Wards are down. They've got vision on the health. Half now is the Baron Nashor, and now Phantom 5 are trying to pull off. They know the big pushes are here, and they're not able to finish it up.
They should have just finished the Baron. They had the opportunity. It was there, and now...
Wait, go! Great ultimate from Taco Lover to avoid the... coming out from Ornn. Now is the big pushers looking for the fight back, but a great feather recall shuts that aggression down. Taco Lover and Toasty are both off the board. Blue, you can put up a shield, but you have to get out of dodge. The flash is good, the stun hits too, but where will you run? How can you get away? Just barely fast enough. Get back to the safety of that base. Not how big pushers wanted this fight to go at all.
Wow, that was extremely well done for Phantom 5. They peeled off the dragon, and peeled off the Baron. Was able to go right back in, engage perfectly. Taco had a great outplay. It just didn't connect like it should have.
Oh boy, Baron goes down. Demonic does find one. No, he doesn't find any, and it's just more deaths for the side of the big pushers. I mean, at that point, you've lost your front line. You've used your ultimates. I feel like you gotta just let that one go and take the loss on the Baron.
Yeah, I would have just let it go. There's absolutely no reason why you should go in there and then just give away an additional 600 gold for free. There's no point to it. There's 0 points.
Maybe getting caught out here, but Zelgrim is also in the area. Lots of damage comes back out. Monkey comes through, but Taco's just being melted. Doesn't have any magical defense, cannot survive the onslaught, and good gracious, Shima has simply stepped up too far. Ornn finds the ultimate. Shouldn't be Toasty going down as well. He should be able to survive this, but the tower is not looking healthy. These cannons here, siege looks good for the Phantom 5.
Yeah, they got the siege cannon in there, and they're able to catch out Toasty. Just sitting up there for no reason. So far ahead. while there's the Baron empowered minions, while you're already behind a death. Now you're just giving up inhibitor for free, and they could probably push it to another lane right after this. I would vote for top because you got a wave ready.
But you see the pings coming through on that one too. Dookie heading his way up. It's like the rest of the Phantom 5 though, they want to reset. They want to spend some of the gold that they just got because they did collect a fair bit of it. I mean, team fight, Baron Nashor picks onto Big Pushers again, back to Baron Nashor, towers inhibitors in the mid lane. Things are going well for the Phantom 5 right now. They're rolling in the riches. You take a look at the graph, 4,000 gold ahead now. Things are starting to feel a lot more difficult to come back from on the side of Big Pushers.
Yeah, that 4,000 gold, at least 2,000 of it is on the Xayah, and the rest of that is on the Ornn. So just seeing how well they were doing in their respective lanes, able to accomplish what they've been able to. As we push down this bot tier 1, going into the tier 2, with what's left of this Baron and empowered push, setting up for that dragon to get onto Infernal Soul.
Look, and Big Pushers, they want to find something here, but they're just not able to collapse onto it fast enough. Hugi feels like he's reached a point where he's just unkillable. It doesn't feel like the Big Pushers have a good way of melting him down. And even if they did, can you afford to spend that time on Pookie instead of Uzi?
Well, they have two opportunities to do it. The Rage Blade is finally up, so you're doing some percent armor shred. Rek'Sai has the cleave, so just being able to shred that armor, the ability is there. The problem is you can't just ignore everyone else, like you said. And I don't really foresee them getting onto Uzi. He's got both of the summoners. He's got his ult. He's got the Milio ult. There's the Redemption. There's just a lot of availability there to keep this Xayah safe while they continue this push.
A lover maybe looking for a flank around here, but Toasty Tortilla is taking a lot of damage. Ends up in the middle of the team. Humongify will not keep him alive. That's just one more ultimate now not available. The rest of the big pushes here. Backline looking a little bit exposed at this point. Blue has the stun ready. Blue has Tibbers ready. It just doesn't feel like they actually have any fight back here. The tower very low. Over the wall comes the Ornn ultimate up through the back line. Hits a couple. It's just enough to create space to bring the rest of that tower down. Big pushers fully retreat. Taco Lover getting aggressed on. Gets charmed. But able to survive for now.
You got a lot of issues with that play there. Big pushers are just getting pushed in. Toasty went in with no follow up from the team. It looks very disjointed, like he's trying to make a play without communicating, and it's backfiring pretty hard. What was a steady game all the way up to like 25 minutes out the window when that Baron happened. They're now down 6K. This is looking like you got to start thinking about what am I going to do next to fix this in game 2 so it's not just a 2-0 wipe.
Well, 10-5. Still have a little bit of work to do before they're able to close this one out and call it a total victory. 5,000 gold down, though. Not the easiest position to come back from at this point. You're kind of looking for the Phantom 5 to start making some mistakes if you're big pushers. That's really the easiest way back into this game. The way things have been going, Phantom 5 have not been giving a lot of opportunities over to BP here. Do they fight around this Baron? Can they afford to give it up? Or does that just present too much game-ending power to Phantom 5?
Well, BP needs to stay mid. They gotta push that out. They can't just give up that priority for free, because then you're giving all the power to Phantom 5 just by letting them walk that in. Ornn is split pushing quite effectively on his own and has that TP to go in right when he's necessary. And then Shen just doesn't have that same pushing power. There's still that tier 1 top, even though he had that early game advantage.
Yeah, that tower simply has never fallen, which means it's just gold sitting on the board for big push that they can find it. Engagement onto Zot and then melt it down. He goes. Channel comes through onto Demonic to try to find an opportunity. Channel comes through, doesn't quite connect the damage, but rooted down. He's Toasty Tortilla, drops the zone, trying to avoid the damage, but he's still getting melted. And somehow, Uzi has not been aggressed upon. Demonic is out of mana, has no way into this backline, and Uzi is just melting them. It's a triple kill. Can they find themselves a quadra? Taco running for his life, trying to find a way over the wall, stunned down into the wall. Uzi finds it. That's the quadra. Give it to him. Unofficial. It doesn't matter. Only one left alive is blue. It's down to the Baron for Phantom 5.
Yeah, what started off as a tragedy for the side of Phantom 5, Zayton getting caught out, being straight up bursted, but Uzi just said, don't worry, get in my backpack. And then right there you saw it with the quadrant kill, able to take away that. Couldn't even get blue into the team fight because of the Orin right there in her face the entire time. Now we have Baron secured. We have the Dragon coming up in less than a minute for Infernal Soul. And then I think that's where you go next. And then you just push down mid. You have both TPs. You can do a 1-3-1 and just control the entire map and squeeze big pushing all the way down into a tube.
15 seconds out is this Infernal Dragon. It's a big one. Now, this is one that, if you're the big pushers, you really can't afford to just let it go. But at the same time, this deficit that they're fighting into, with the Baron buff on top of it, it doesn't feel like they really have any good chance of winning this fight. You just give this up and try to dig your heels in at your base. It doesn't look like that may be the route that the big pushers are going, because they are positioned aggressively here. Keep an eye on Taco Lover in the bush, looking for an engagement. Zotin, it's not that the base veil popped, and now it's engagement. Zelgrim looking for a chase, an opportunity to get in. The disengage is good from the big pushers. They're able to clear out. Now it's all around this inhibitor, around these two Nexus towers. It's tough defense.
Yeah, they're realistically the only chance that BP has of winning this game is if somehow this takes another 5 minutes and they get Elder Dragon. There's just nothing that they can do.
Talk to me a little bit about this Shadow Flame pickup from Demonic here real quick. Just now purchased 100 more AP. Extra pen, good against the shields. Is that... I don't know if I see it getting through this, though. I don't know that it's enough damage to actually stop anything that the Phantom 5 have been doing. Zelgrim does get caught out here, but Demonic is so low because he's been left on his own trying to defend this top tower against the Baron enhanced team with Infernal Soul. This tower is long gone. Engage, Taco Lover, and Tortilla looking to try to get out of this one, but the Ornal comes through, hits two. Toasty Tortilla has been toasted once more, and the Taco Lover will be enjoying his burritos no more. He's gonna go down to the grave, and it looks like a full ace. Demonic back in the base. Triple kill once again. Make it 4-4 for the Phantom 5, and they're gonna end this one. The Nexus goes down. Finally, the official quadra comes through.
Yeah, and the 2 quadra kills for the side of Uzi. Really good there.
Really good is one way to put it. I mean, these team fights have just felt disjointed from the big pushes. Never felt like they had a good place to go. No real leverage in the fights. And they've just been dismantled by Uzi. I mean, look at the damage. Dobby, 55,000 just from Uzi.
Yep, and the next closest was Demonic at 35, and at least 8,000 of that was just the Static Shiv itself. It's inflated damage numbers because of the item, and that's what I really don't like about it. And you see it a lot in a lot of different places, especially solo queue, and those never seem to win. The Shadow Flame, I don't even know if that passive procs through the Static Shiv damage. I think that might have been what his thought process was. Let me let me death by a thousand tickles is what it looks like.
Well, unfortunately, if you want death by a thousand tickles, you actually have to get the thousand of them in there. And frankly, big pushers were simply dying way too quickly in those fights to get any of that damage off. The shred potential was there, but the survivability simply wasn't. At the end of the day, it feels like why their team fights just fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. They didn't synergize well. They had a thought process. This is what I was saying back in draft. I didn't like the Lulu. It didn't work well with the Kaisa. Um, you really needed an engage champion to get that passive stack off. And if you want something that synergizes extremely well with Annie and Shen, Rel. You can also go Nautilus, Rakan, Amumu, hell, even Thresh would work. But you see that they're banning out so many support champions in the draft phase that you're limiting your options. But there's still so many good options out there. Just to fall back on Lulu seems, for a lack of a better word, lazy.
Well, now the question is, can the big pushers have themselves a comeback and push their way to a big victory in the second game? Will the Phantom 5 manage to take this one in simply 2 games? We'll find out. Before we get to that, got a short break. gentlemen, fans of all ages, we are back. Game number 2, the Big Pushers against Phantom 5. Phantom 5 currently up 1 game. 1 game is not a sealed victory just yet. It's still Spooky and still Dobby to take you through this one. We're just getting right into the picks and bans on it here. Dobby, and we're taking a look at everything that's going on right now. You can see a slight adaptation, Ornn taken off the board now, as
and
well as that Poppy. Is that the way to go?
I don't think that the Poppy was the issue. The Ornn definitely was difficult to play against, especially for BP. I think you got to take away the Xayah, like that. The amount of self peel that champion had, unless you're planning on drafting it yourself, is just extremely strong. And the Ancelot Grago Yasuo, so just being able to know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to wombo combo their team down. I think because of their head, they're confident, ready to pick out this tried and true combo, team comp.
I don't want to be here anymore. This is cringe. I don't like this. This hurts me to watch. This hurts me to look at. I don't want to look at this. This is just mean, man. Oh, I mean, it definitely brings aggression. Where do you expect this Gragas to go then? Do you think this is just going to be the jungle Gragas?
Or you're going to have the Yasuo, who is on your team, and he's -12.
Hey, that's the Yasuos I typically have. I mean, most of mine are the 0-37 type, whereas my enemies are typically the 37-0 types. Pay no mind to the fact that I'm usually the one in mid. Don't worry about that one.
It's a coincidence.
Malphite here is locked in as well, so I think that does solidify this Gragas as being the jungler for P5. There's flex potential there, but with it being locked in, I think this is pretty cut and dry. Do you like P5 going this route and kind of showing their hand, or do you think you would have preferred to see a bot laner picked up here? Kind of keep this Gragas pick a mystery a little bit longer.
Well, I think what they really wanted with this is they wanted the Malphite. And they knew they wanted Malphite, so they needed to R3 it so they can ban out the Sylas and just grab it for free. I think they already know what they want to do with R5. Probably going for a Pyro AD carry. But the Yasuo Gragas, you need to grab them both at the same time, or else you have the potential of losing that synergistic pick. So we'll see what happens as they go into it right here. But unless that Senna is the AD carry, I'm kind of seeing what they pair that up with, which, if the Senna is the AD carry, it does not make me feel confident about PP's draft.
I have to wait and see. I'm sure. I have a suspicion it'll be Senna in the support role here. Like I said, only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see for ourselves. Looking at this set Malphite matchup, though, do you think that this will cause some problems for Big P? Because Malphite, very good against the auto attackers. Set loves throwing those punches. Doesn't feel like a great matchup for Big Pushers here.
If I were Big Pushers, I would immediately try and flex the set into the AD carry role, have the Senna support do its thing, just so that you can get a more favorable matchup into the Malphite. I don't see them having the fort width to do that, so we'll see what they pick here.
Oh, perhaps someone is listening to you here, Dobby, as Sion getting picked up here.
Fun fact, Sion Senna is a better bot lane, so we'll see where the Set and Sion go. They can go in either real place. Both are excellent in what they need to do. Good answers into the combo itself. You're able to create that front line, so you can keep back those champions and just peel away. If there is a Yuumi, I will do nothing but talk about how much I hate Yuumi and
I'm with you.
And root
Want to
for
turn this
BP.
into a Yuumi hate session?
It's a Yuumi hate session.
I'm down for it.
Welcome to
I hate
that.
that
Someone
cat.
hide my cat so he doesn't hear this. Just
You know, as long as your cat isn't riding around on a book attaching to other people like a parasite, he's excluded, right? He doesn't have to be part of this
yeah,
conversation. He's all good.
just oh my goodness. All right. Okay, so with everything that P5 did right, Yumi does wrong. It has no synergy with the Samira. I think they're gonna try and put it on Yasuo. It's just it. I hope they lose. I want them to lose. I am rooting BP. Yeah, my vote is you, and you. Please, for the love of God, win. Make them regret picking this champion. I don't like it anywhere. It's still strong. It's just, and it's so uninteractive.
Yeah, it's very uninteresting to play against. Is how I typically like to phrase those things. I don't care if it's balanced or overpowered. It's uninteresting to play against, and that just makes me a very sad person when I have to go against it. I'm here to have fun, man. And I don't know what you queued up for. Apparently not to play the game, but
yeah, right. Like, how are you gonna be like, I want to play competitive League of Legends, and then I'm gonna pick a champion that requires -2 skill? Like, so like one of the old things that used to bother me about Zeri Yumi and Ezreal Yumi was there is zero skill expression with that combination because it's so safe. It just does what it needs to do and nothing more, but it'll still win, right? And seeing the Yumi now, nerfed but still good, it's just one of those things that makes me feel like your team does not have confidence in you as a support.
Man, I think we've given Kill a good roasting over the Yumi pick here. I hope you remember this when you think about playing Yumi in the future. We will have words for you, sir. Well, I'm going to turn my eyes back over to big pushes here for a second. I'm going to look at this Neeko because lots of changes come through on this champion fairly recently. We've been seeing a lot of her. How are you liking it so far with the rest of this draft?
You could have drafted 4 wards and Neeko would still be an extremely powerful pick here.
She could be a 5th ward.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a really good overall. So one of the things about old Galio that Riot took away was you couldn't like use an ability and then the taunt. And they took away a lot of that counterplay, and it was really hard to play against. And then they nerfed it; they took that away. You could only use one or the other. With the Neeko ultimate, that is not true anymore. So it's just extremely strong pick potential. You're able to play the mind games with the enemy team, and you're able to go into it and do what you need to do. And you have a lot of team fight potential with that. I'm curious to see if that's what they're going with the jungler and how they're going to impact the lanes at that point versus Gragas.
Now, I'm going to take exception with one thing you said here, Dobby, all right? And you said old Galio. And I don't know which Galio you're thinking about, but my Galio is the one that flew around and shot lasers from his eyes. All right, that's old Galio.
That's
I
OG
tolerating
Galio.
any of this OG Galio slander.
That's OG Galio. All right, so the Galio pre-nerf when you could use his taunt in coordinates with like a flash or Hextech rocket belt and stuff like that. It was extremely broken in pro play, so Riot was like, well, we got to get rid of it. But they seem to have forgotten that aspect when they reworked Neeko. So I'm just really weird to see just like 2 compositions that don't like, they sort of make sense, but then they have that one outlier that you're just like, that's awkward.
Yeah, it's the old adage of rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah.
And right now, Neeko is the one setting the rules, apparently. Turning into just about anything she wants on the Rift here. I'm excited to see how it goes. The specific jungle matchup, though, of Nico versus Gragas, are you expecting either of them to have more pressure than the other? Are you expecting Gragas to have maybe a little bit more activity early on? Or do you think this Nico is just going to be sliding around through minion waves, doing whatever she can to get the jump on people?
I think the Gragas has the early game advantage. Because you have this all-in potential that Nico doesn't have until post 6. So just being able to go in, dash in, and you're going to be able to counter jungle with that as well. Because if the Nico gets caught by her combo, it doesn't matter her damage if she's unable to trade back with you, just because of the amount of burst that Gragas can offer.
Both these drafts have quite a lot to offer. And as always, I'm excited to see how they're put into practice. But before we can get to that, we gotta wait for the spectator delay, my friends. So get your drinks, get your snacks. We'll be right back. friends and neighbors, it's now or never for Big Pushers. They need to win this game to find themselves back in this set. Otherwise, they'll be kissing their chances of overtaking FSU in the seeding goodbye. It is going to be Demonic on this set, piloted in the bot lane. Dobby, you were talking a little bit about that. You did mention that you would rather see that Scion down there instead.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this particular matchup, though, between Scion going into Malphite and the set Senna down in bot?
So I think once I saw that Yuumi, the set is the better choice down there, just because you can interrupt anytime that champion decides he wants to play the game and come off the Samira. And negating the passive there, which is really good. The Scion is also really good down there because it's a scaling lane. You're able to stack your health, and as long as you're farming, you're able to get those souls for the Senna, which is what made it really strong. There's a really cool interaction where you could stun the minion with Senna's W and then rupture it forward with Scions. So that was what was really good about that.
Big stun already comes out there onto Uzi.
Man, if only he had Alistar.
Or, any CC at all there for the side of Phantom 5. Or she's just a cat trying to keep this Samira safe for right now. Do you expect this to kind of be the story of the game, though? Some aggression from Big Pushers looking to try to get themselves a lead?
Well, I think Big Pushers showed last game that they were able to generate a lead early. They just weren't able to hold on to it. And then Phantom 5 here does have a scaling team that will work really well. And any combination, wombo combo attack and stacking of CC will make sure that Yasuo is doing max damage. And just while they're focusing on Zaten, Uzi will be able to come in and utilize the Samira combo properly. Unless they're able to punish them really hard, which they should be able to. It's a Yuumi. It doesn't do anything. So...
the Yuumi hate does not stop here, guys. This is anti-Yuumi propaganda. The cast. I hope you're on board for it. But looking at the overall draft of Big Pushers, right? This is a massive team fight draft. This is the kind of draft where you're okay being down 1,000, 1,500 gold in the lane phase, because all it takes is one good team fight, and they have all these tools to make it a good team fight.
Yeah. Malphite is a low econ champion. All he's got to do is hit 6. And that's where he gets his biggest spike from. But you see here, BP are trying to create an early lead, keep that combo from getting on light as long as possible. And just being able to invade and do that, they're doing a good job. And they're poking through right here.
Now, what is the break point to you? How far ahead do they need to get here? Is Taco Lover actually taking the fight to Zelgrim in his own jungle over this blue buff?
I would think like a 20 to 30 CS lead on that spot lane. Being able to get those early kills definitely keep them behind. But a trade of flashes top definitely stopped anything extra from happening.
Actually, a little bit surprised Toasty doesn't just decide to take that fight with the Scion passive and the health bar that Pookie was at. I feel like still good kill potential there. Out on this bot lane, though, it's still just Shima and Demonic. Kind of just trying to keep Uzi behind his mini wave, not let him do anything here. How far ahead does the Big Pushers need to get in order to feel comfortable taking these team fights?
Well, they should feel pretty comfortable down in the bot side. Like, they have 3 defensive summoners, not a single offensive one. They're playing safe. I feel like they're not confident in their ability to survive the early game, which is why they need all that extra help. But, like, you need to fight them before 6. If Uzi is able to get 6 and get a good ultimate off, you're not going to be able to do much with it against it.
Have to wait and see what they're able to do. How do they get the engage off, though? Because right now, Uzi is just sitting behind that mini wave, really not allowing big pushers to step up to him whatsoever. There's some poke coming through here, and there is the engage from Demonic with Exhaust comes through, followed with the flash, trying to stay on top. Not able to find the kill. Oh, but very low. First blood does come through. Shima picks it up, and I guess that answers the question there, doesn't it, Davi?
Oh, absolutely. Really great. That's exactly what you need to do with Demonic. Get that flash going, and stop it. It looks like Toasty's just trying to do something to trade back some damage here. Really good gank from Zelgrim. But you know, if there was any other support down there besides Yuumi, the only thing that Kill did in that entire engage was use summoner spells. He had no mana to do anything else because he went Relic Shield over over the shard. So you're just not getting that mana regen like you would with your other support item. And I believe he's not even stacking it that well. Actually down 300 gold in comparison. Well, 300 gold in comparison between just the support items alone. He's down a lot more because Senna got that first blood.
Yeah. There's some questions to be had, right? I mean, on one hand, you say, you know, he's out of mana. No support would have been able to do anything without any mana. But, I mean, how does this Yuumi utilize the Relic Shield? You have to hop off in order to execute the minion, correct? Like, I'm not crazy.
You have to hop off in order to execute it with the auto, or you can utilize your Q to
hold on. Zaten gets counter engaged on Taco Lover. Loves the counter gank there. Blue really still alive.
Really good right there. Able to trade 1 for 0, get that kill off on him, keeping the Zaten behind. Like, if you're showing that they don't know how to pull off the combo right, then you're building your self-confidence as BP. Now with a 2,000 gold lead, they're able to generate these early leagues. I just really want to see how well they can do it. And in a 4v5, they should win this.
They should hopefully win in the 4v5. Are we just not counting kill right now? Is that where the man disadvantage is?
Yes. And then we see Taco come down here for a gank. I feel like they're gonna try and turret dive, and this would be really good. Demonic has his ultimate.
Demonic looking for it, not able to find a stun here, but they are pushing Uzi away from the tower. It's gonna make it a little bit easier. Able to get a lot of distance out there, so still alive. But the tower taking a good bit of damage. Should be at least a plating, maybe 2 beside of big pushers.
That's the one time being Yuumi is useful. They don't have a second target to kill. So you're able to get out perfectly fine there with your AD carry, utilizing his summoners to keep you safe.
Gotten once again in some danger. Doesn't get hit by that root though, so should still be alive. You know, just looking for a Q on the air there. It is the steel wind, I suppose. So sometimes you just gotta stab at the air. Meanwhile, Herald being fought over up in near the top lane. Blue made the rotation. Big ultimate comes out from Shima for the shielding. Pookie goes down, but Zaten is here, finds the ultimate, but he gets countered out, hit by the ultimate from Taco Lover, and now he's just got nowhere to go. Too many bodies around.
Yeah,
4-1 decide the pusher.
Absolutely tragic there for Phantom 5. You gave them such a leash on that Rift Herald that they're able to get it, and they got 2 kills for free out of it. But however, Uzi is 6 now, so hopefully Demonic is able to use his CC properly to negate that Samira ultimate, as it will do a lot of work on you. But it looks like they're diving.
Gosh, Demonic is right in on it, but oh no, he's not able to find the punch! It goes the opposite way! Uzi just sneaks behind him and takes him down. Still, a 1-for-1 trade, both ADCs fall. While on the top lane, Toasty Tortilla looking to put some damage onto Pookie, and he's doing a good bit of it. Ultimate comes out, unstoppable! Toasty Tortilla is not going to be able to catch up to Pookie, just going to have to try to hit that wave. He's just going to have to settle for that.
Yeah, the Malphite going into the Frozen Fist there, getting the Sheen first, is able to stack damage pretty effectively onto Scion. And you need to this early. You want to keep Scion as far back as possible to keep that gold out of his pocket as early as possible, so he's not getting that heart steal, so he's not stacking health early. But in the 1v1 mid, you see that Zaitan is just dying free, but being able to keep up with CS means that he is not overly behind. He's just not going to be ahead either. But shifting bot side, looking at the matchup of the 2v2, Shima is just straight up smurfing on this bot lane. Even after that botch dive, was able to get out for free. If there was a different support, maybe an Alistar or a Mumu, maybe they translated that into a 2 for 0 instead of a 2 for 1.
Shield comes out, and Uzi going right on it, and Pop Blossom comes through as well. Taco trying to turn this around, but the Inferno trigger has been pulled, and 2 will fall in the bottom lane. And this right here is where the Phantom 5 start to come back.
Yeah, really good there from Zelgrim, absolutely, to interrupt that ultimate from Taco Lover, which made sure that Uzi was able to get off 2 separate ultimates off. Really there, really good. If not for Zelgrim, that would have been a lost fight.
What is this? I hate Scion tactics, man. These are so infuriating to watch. Like, look at this. He's just punching. He's dead, and he's still clearing the way, punching towers. What is this champion?
This is so. I can't even, like, just the tank matchup up there is going nuts. So 2 tanks just smacking each other, whichever one hits last wins. It's really weird. But Scion's gonna have that heart steal soon, and we'll start. And you just look at it. You have 4 plates of Scion. You're up 40 CS. Like, you're feeling good, so you're gonna be overly aggressive, try and deny extra CS coming in, but it just seems out of place that you would just die for free, and try and proxy as Scion.
I'm just having flashbacks to the Inting Scion strats from my ranked games here. I don't like it. It's not a fun strat to be on either end of. But
no, but it does get the job done.
I mean, sometimes it does. It's getting it done right now. That tower already down. Pookie used the Unstoppable Force already. An Unstoppable Onslaught available for Toasty. And then, what happens if they both just ult each other? They're both unstoppable.
I feel like Isaac Newton said something about this, and it would be the end of the universe.
You know what, guys? Let's put it into action. Let's see this happen, boys. This easiest thing you could have done.
Maybe if we get lucky, it'll just delete Yuumi.
Wouldn't that be something? If Pookie and Toasty both just ult each other in top lane, and kill just while attached to Uzi, just insta dies.
It's just no longer in the game. It's like permanently gone.
You're gonna have to reinstall.
Look at that Yuumi. Look at that Yuumi damage right there.
It's aggression.
Getting that ultimate off did a lot for the lane.
I kept the tower alive, I suppose. They do still have their tower standing here.
They have, yeah. Until Scion decides he doesn't want to steal Silgrim's jungle anymore.
I mean, Silgrim, if he wanted, he should have been here. Taco Lover, though.
Yeah, this is
here.
This is just my issue. You have to spend so much time as a jungler in a Yuumi lane because they don't have that engage potential that you need for the Samira. It's like Samira works best with those champions because it gives her time and safety to get that combo off. Now, because you're putting so much time down here, you're ignoring the other aspects of the game, including the entire purpose of having the Yasuo Gragas. So it just seems a little off kilter to see. Hopefully they're able to fix it up and see if they can't get it going.
I hope,
as we go longer.
I hope there's a Yumi in every single one of our future casts together. I truly wish for that. I hate Yumi with a passion, but the way you hate Yumi is just so much better. I need more of this in my life right now.
And just it's like we were saying, it's just unactive. It's not fun, and like it's just easy to play against.
Here comes a little bit of aggression. Taco Lover may have overstepped their boundaries. There's that combo you've been looking for. Grinwall stops the charm from hitting Zaten, so no follow-up aggression there. But
I kind of wish the kill went on the Zaten. He needs it to get back into it. And he's got to get those early items. He's still not even at a full. He's not even on his mythic yet. Everyone else has got it. Even Yumi's got a mythic at this point.
He's on his way to his power spike. Just needs 3 more deaths.
I remember it's 0 and 10, so we'll, as I remember it. So
they've been scaling faster lately.
I mean, okay, he's gonna do better if he dies in deaths. No, he needs 20 faster. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's big. I mean, all said and done, though. I mean, we take a look at the state of the game. P5 is now leading in kills, but they're still at a gold deficit. And you look at the board right now, it's the big pushers who are rotating these objectives. They're on the Rift Herald right now. It's only Pookie here who has any thoughts of defending. Keep an eye, though. The rest of the map is P5. He is around this dragon, which should be coming up. Zaten engaging onto Taco Lover, but he's by himself in the middle of 2. Gets pulled back in. Heartsteel proc is ready. He's trying to find him. He gets pulled back. The show stopper has indeed stopped the show the Zaten's been trying to put on for us. Now it's P5 on the retreat. Does come through. Pookie is here. Unstoppable force hits 3, and that is devastating for the fight. He finds the shutdown onto blue. Now Zelgrim is trying to find the rest of this fight. Uzi comes in looking for a little bit more. Pull my Inferno trigger. Put him down. Toasty Tortilla. He's going to try to run down Uzi, but he's got nothing to do about it. He's going to have to settle for the ward.
Yeah, that was really good for P5 there. Trading Zaten, who hasn't had the largest impact yet, for Taco Lover, who is the sustained CC and AP damage at this current point in the game. And then Zelgrim is just playing out of his mind, doing great, and that unstoppable force from Pookie, really good. Like, you lost his tower, but like we were talking about earlier, all he has to do is hit his ultimate once, and it's good. And then Uzi was able to get off a really good ultimate just because everyone else was dead, and Zelgrim and Pookie did everything. Like, I'm sorry, P5, but your bot lane this match, after last match, watching how well you guys played, and then watching whatever this is now is just not.
Engagement coming through here. Zaten tries to go up top to get some easy farm, and learns the hard way that nothing is easy when you play Yasuo. Everyone hates you. Like, you got the 2 Ys. You can either bully the Yasuo, you can bully the Yumi. Everyone hates both of them. But the Yasuo is just a little bit easier to get on top of because he's actually targetable.
Yeah. As soon as Yumi is on Yasuo, all bets are off, though.
Big pull comes in, shows stopper, puts Uzi a little bit further away from safety, but the Inferno trigger comes through, and then suddenly this 2v3 has become a 2v2. Another Inferno trigger. It's a double kill for Uzi. He has returned. Make it 3. It's a triple. The only reason it ain't more is because he didn't have a 4th target.
Absolutely, really good job. Being able to peel away the Demonic, not saving his CC for that ultimate. They had nothing else available to keep that Samira from utilizing her combo. And once you get the Duskblade on there, like, she gets one, she's untargetable. She's going to be able to stack that passive faster, do it again. Definitely showed the skill of that champion right there.
I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not.
No, watching Uzi do that, not sarcasm. Watching Kill sit there and get kill assists from giving Samira a high 5, that's different.
You know, I don't think it's a high five. I think Yumi only has like 3 little beans. It's like that's a high five from Samira and like a mid 3 from the Yumi.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
what is also fair is that now this game has shifted a little bit. No longer are P5 at a deficit. They're the ones leading by about 2,000. The lover making sure that P5 is not able to engage on them, but might be in a bad spot here. Tries to rocket bell out, but it gets flashed on. Explosive cast may not connect, but you got that level of follow-up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is the biggest thing, the biggest problem with big pushers, is that they get caught out. They're not team fighting well.
Oh my goodness. Not team fighting well at all, but suddenly Phantom 5 is team fighting very well. Zotan goes down, but at this point, I don't think they mind too much if they're losing Zotan, because right now Uzi is just putting so much damage out. That Inferno trigger, it just keeps getting squeezed on repeat. It's a rapid fire at this point. Oh my god.
Yeah, and because P5 started out strong, you think they would keep it going, but they just get overconfident, make bad plays, and it just gives Phantom 5 the ability to fight back. I mean, it's only 2,000 gold difference, but you got 10 kills is pretty big. When you look at the scoreboard, you don't really know how much gold difference there is, but you see 9 to 19, and you start to get demoralized as a player.
I think the biggest factor here is the XP difference. You take a look at that bot lane's 2 levels on both the ADC and the support of their opposition. You can argue which one of them deserves that more than the other, but the lead is very real. It's very much there. It's something that has to be considered. Even Yumi is just going to have more points, and these abilities have a little bit bigger of an impact.
Yumi has 2 useful items on her now, and all it's going to do is accentuate the stats that Uzi has, and you're never going to be able to fight him unless you get all 5 on him right off the bat, combo him out of the fight, which is necessary, especially with a 700 gold bounty on him. But it looks like they're trying to catch out Blue down there, having to burn his ultimate.
An eye on the positioning here. The team is pretty split up right now. Pookie dealing with Toasty up in the top. Taco Lover is finally starting to rotate down towards that mid lane as well. Fight hasn't quite broken out. Eldrim does take a little bit of damage, but I think they feel pretty confident walking over to this dragon, knowing Toasty is still on top and being held in check by Pookie here. It's just split pushing Sion, doing split pushing Sion things, really. Blossom looks for a target, doesn't connect onto anybody. Showstopper picks up Zelgrim, but that just means that Uzi walks into everyone and finds himself a Quadra Toasty and teleported down just to deliver himself to the pentakill. 5 for Phantom 5.
Absolutely fantastic there. Uzi showing his prowess on AD carry. He started off slow, and here he is once again, most fed player on the team. Most likely will do the most damage in the game, showing that P5 not out of playoff run contention as they start to build this large gold lead.
I'm starting to think that Uzi heard what you said comparing his performance to game 1. And he's taking that personally. He is taking a step up. Quadra kill? No. Not good enough for the return of Uzi. Pentakill? That's more like it.
Yeah, he had 2 quadras last game, and he's like, no, fam, watch this. So if he doesn't get 2 pentas, then he's reported.
Oh, is that how we're working that one out? I mean,
well, he's got to do something to make up for the Yumi on his team.
Fair enough.
This is one of those things that people like to argue. It's called results-based analysis. It's the weakest form of argument. It's, oh, I did good on it, or oh, it's good because of XYZ. So obviously it's good. done, like the champion's done nothing to show that it's good. It's literally Uzi gapping out Demonic.
Gosh, Demonic now being aggressed on Shima has just disappeared, and Uzi is just way too far ahead at this point to really be looked at. This is why I banned Samira, man. Like, I'm terrible playing against this champion. When she's ahead, she is not fun to be dealing with. Good Everfrost, but is it enough? Barely able to get back into the base. And here comes the Toasted Tortilla from downtown. But where has he found himself but in hell itself? He has put down Uzi, somehow still alive, finds himself a double kill. The Inferno trigger just keeps going off. It's a triple. But with everyone in their bout, I don't think this is the second penta that Uzi is looking for. Shima being pushed back, Zaten taking all of the aggression, and there's the last breath, and suddenly Uzi is right back in and finds another. That's an unofficial penta, baby! Does it count?
I will say that counts. He did get it, so you know, very good on you for 1v2ing in the bot lane. 2 pentakills definitely make it worth it.
That is gonna be the 1v2 in the bot lane for the 2-0 for the victory. Dosi has nothing to say about that one, cannot get out of base. Phantom 5 have wrapped this one up in 2 games, taking a clean sweep. Kept themselves above water. 3-2 now is their record. But frankly, Dobby, this didn't look like a performance from a middle of the pack kind of team. I mean,
No,
Uzi was popping.
It was a very good to see that happen. He completely demonstrated how well he is, but like we were saying pre-draft, like this is P5's second time playing against a bottom tier team. They dominated versus FSU in week 1. However, anytime they play someone with a winning record, the opposite is true. WLS and the Travelers dismantled them equally as well as they dismantled BP here. So I believe that they have plenty of room to grow and they'll get better here as time goes on. And this is the right step in that direction.
Yeah, certainly lessons to be taken from this game for both sides there. I mean, definitely saw a lot of potential from big pushers, but it feels like they have that early game down. They know how they want to play that at the start. But when it starts getting to that mid game, we start looking around those team fights, big pushers can't seem to form a coherent strategy. And that was really where Phantom 5 was shining. True to their name, they just played as 5. I think that's the biggest strength of this team so far.
Yeah. I really think it comes down to communication and team synergy on the side of BP. And this is what they lack because when they're playing with themselves against an opponent, they're good. As soon as you go into that mid game where you're required to work together, it all goes out the window. And a team like P5 who are like, okay, maybe our early game's not as good, but we know how to communicate, we talk, we plan, and we fight accordingly. And it shows. And that's why you pick these wombo combo comps because you're comfortable with that communication and being able to accomplish the goal.
At the end of the day, the big pushers did not find themselves the break they were looking for. Their record continues to 0-5. Still haven't quite found themselves a win and dominate here so far this season. It's not all said and done. Still have a few weeks left throughout the season here before things are really solidified. As the longer it goes without that win, the tougher things are going to start to look for them. But the good news is for Phantom 5. They found themselves the win. They've kept their head above water. They're above that even point in the rankings. Finally found themselves a positive win ratio. And that's going to do it for us here today for Dominate. But don't you worry. There's going to be plenty more games coming up. Make sure you're joining the Discord. Make sure you're following on Twitter as well, so you're always up to date on when these games are happening. Heck, drop a follow on the Twitch too. Make sure you know when we're going live, because after watching this, after watching big pushers, a bottom tier team still put up the fight that they have, you know that all the rest of the games are going to be real bangers.
All right. Okay, here we go. Spooky,
Okay.
you're can't hear you, but we're back real quick. We're gonna do an interview. We're gonna grab Uzi from P5 and ask him some questions about the game. Before we go on to before we go on with the rest of our evening.
All right. Well, we've got Uzi here with us. Uzi, how are you feeling after that one?
Pretty good, man. It was a good series. It was first game was like pretty bad early game, but it was okay after.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
felt like
seemed like you guys had a lot of issues both games early game, but you in the mid game are just able to turn it around like a switch.
Yeah, I think once we hit our item spikes, we knew that we could fight. And I think we like in game two especially, we obviously drafted Yumi Samira, which is not the strongest lane. But once we get into mid game fights, Yumi rounds out our draft so well so that if Yasuo or Samira is fed, like either of them can just take over the entire fight. And we have so much CC already from everyone else that we really didn't need an engaged support, in my opinion.
Well, obviously it worked out. I mean, how do you feel about going for Yumi? Do you just not trust your support to play any other enchanter?
No, I just think Yumi is the only enchanter that can follow us in. So, I mean, if he picks Janna, he's just gonna stand there. He's gonna press E on the Samira and say, "Hey, good luck, bro. Fucking go crazy," and then he just stands there. So, I
Isn't
think
that the
Yumi.
only thing Yumi does with her E?
Yeah, but Yumi's on top of the guy the entire fight, and he has an ult and all that shit. Like, I don't know if they're very comparable in
so. The
that
strategy
way.
there was to put kill on so they could just be with whoever is diving into that fight, keep them sustained, and not have to
Yeah, I
worry
mean,
about
it's
trying
like
to
a
find their own way in, but just already be there with you.
yeah, like
Okay,
if
so no Rakan, no Tarek. You just wanted the Yumi there because you want an enchanter, not an engage.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So we saw a lot of attention from the jungle being put down towards that bot lane throughout the game as well. There, we were expecting when we saw your initial draft, we were expecting to see a lot of Zelgrim going into that mid lane and trying to facilitate Zaten. Did Big Pushers just have a little bit more pressure than you were expecting, or did you make the active decision that you want to facilitate your role specifically?
In the second game,
Yes.
I think it was just the way the lane was going. We felt the easiest way to win was through bot when I got my first back, especially. So, I mean, that was mainly it. We thought we could counter gank bot, and we also thought that set was kind of griefing. So
Hmm.
we just kept finding free kills, and then once you get like two or three free kills on Samira, the game kind of ends. So
Yeah.
that was pretty much how it went.
Well,
Yeah, you definitely showcase there that once you start, you can't stop it. The true definition of snowballing there.
Yeah, Dustblade is pretty broken. So yeah.
How's Zaitan's mental there at the end of that game, just constantly being punished on Yasuo, but still getting the W.
Zatan, he is a mental monk. He is a guru. You know, I think he prays at the top of mountains once a week minimum. So we have like the best mental mid laner in the league. He's also mechanically the GOAT. So no complaints, you know. He did what he had to do to win the game.
Okay, right on. Now that the hardest part of your schedule is behind you, how do you feel going into the next 4 weeks into playoffs?
Um, I think that we pretty good. I don't know. I guess last week we last two games before this one we were terrible. So it was a bit awkward and we were like trying to figure out what to do. But I think we improved a lot. Well, not a lot, but a little bit. So I think I'm pretty confident going into the next few weeks and then we'll make playoffs and go from there.
Okay. Next week you play the winning formula, and they won here today, so that puts you both at 3-2, tied for what I believe is fifth place. Whoever wins next week will be there at fourth. How do you
Yeah.
feel about playing against them?
Let me look at the roster real quick. Okay. Oh, Zohair, I recognize that name. I mean, it'll be close, right? We're both 3-2. Who is their ADC? They got so many people on this roster, man.
I believe
Yeah.
Perky the
Perky?
Parrots are starting.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna 2-0 this week.
You're gonna 2-0 them? All right, you heard it here, folks. Phantom
Love
5 is
that
gonna
energy.
2-0 the winning formula.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for joining us, Uzi. Congratulations on your win. Congratulations on your official penta and unofficial. We'll call it the double penta just for the sake of brevity for you.
All right,
And
I'll take
hope to
that.
see more of you guys in the future weeks. But for today, that is going to do it for real this time. I promise you. This will be the conclusion of Risen Dominate here in week 5. We'll see you guys next time.